Hey, it's just so Trish. So I wanted to touch base with you. Yes, my surroundings are a little different and things have been changing around here. And I just wanted to give like an update to how this whole going public school is going. Um, so right now they've completed their third week of school over 4 weeks. So we're about 4 weeks since they started. And they did 3 weeks because we had a week off for Thanksgiving. So I will say it was probably a smart move putting them 2 weeks in before Thanksgiving because they all got sick. They all absolutely got sick. They came home and we pretty much spent the entire week of Thanksgiving just getting better. I think they just passed the flu around the house, and then I got it a little later. Um, Let me start with Katie. So Katie's in ninth grade, and we're doing a lot of recovery of coursework because none of our stuff would transfer in, and she's doing great. In the course of 2 weeks, she completed 2 courses, and she has 3 more courses left in about 2 weeks to do them, and she's almost done with the third one. I'm not sure if she's going to get science and algebra that semester done in time, and if not, it'll just transfer in and she'll stay there the rest of the year for those courses. She's doing fine. She's really actually enjoying it. She had a day that she stayed home and she was just like, I don't know if I want to say this out loud, but I just like the structure. And she's actually feeling less stressed because she knows when she gets there, the day starts, and when she's done, the day's over. And she feels like it's compartmentalizing her day, and she really needed that because otherwise she just carries the stress constantly. My middle schoolers, so my son who's in 8th grade is just loving it, and and they all admit, my middle schoolers and my high schooler all admit that they learn more with me than they do at school. And at the same time they're like, and they my son's like, I really love you, I really appreciate you, you really worked really really hard, thank you so much, but please don't take me out of school at all, don't take me out at all. And he's had some struggles, like we've had some technology struggles where they use Schoolology and these are new systems, and at the same time my kids have come in and taught them something. So it's definitely like sometimes the school has some like higher things that they're more in depth of knowing, and then at the same time some of my kids, and that can come off with technology or it comes off with the curriculum. So it works. It's been kind of, they're not above everything but they're not below everything. It's very paired up. One thing to note, we were using Christian Light Education math, and I'll tell you, I had them in level 4 and 5, and they really didn't like that idea and kind of went in a little bit like, we're not going to do so good here. And then they've come home and just laughed because even though they were doing, like my son doing level 5, he's one of the top ones in his class for pre-algebra. And my daughter, even though she was doing level 4, she's one of the top ones in the class for 6th grade math. So that was really reassuring. And they're like, oh, we definitely feel better about, because they were kind of like, oh, this is awful. And now they are like, oh, this isn't so bad. My daughter's very shy. And so it's pushing and stretching her to actually have to talk to teachers. So I actually consider that a positive. My son just loves being with everybody. There's times I'm like, where's the textbook? That's a whole nother conversation, but this is just a quick update, hopefully quick. And if you don't like the length of my video, then click off, because if you start telling me I got a long video, I'm just going to delete your comments. My 4th graders had the hardest struggle. She's a perfectionist, and she can't figure everything out yet. She's doing really great, but just not feeling like she knows what to expect drives her nuts. So we're working through that. She does ask to come home and she does ask to go to the private school, and she does ask to go to the AC school. That we have an AC school, and I think a lot of that has to do with predictability. But I ask her to be patient about it, and we kind of talk about those things. She's probably having the hardest time. My kindergartner, so he should be in first, but because of the speech impairment and because of his inability to maintain reading because of auditory processing issues, he's in the kindergarten, and he's actually like perfectly on level where they are for the year in kindergarten. So that really was a good match. He loves it. He's like, I'm like, hey, you learned so much in 1 week. How about you come home now? And he's like, no way. I'm not coming home. My 4-year-old does not like the fact that she cannot rule the roost in VPK, which is funny. It's been real funny. So we have our hard days, we have rough days, and we have days that we're overwhelmed. And we have days that this is awesome, and then like we have low days. Like today was a low day where I was like, I just kind of want to go home and shut the door and not have to leave, which it's Friday, so it works out. I can kind of do that. But then I don't know if that has more to do with my anxiety kicking in, of just everyday anxiety. And that's what I like to do when I have anxiety. I like to just kind of go home, or what it is. So you're going to notice I'm here. What is this place I'm at? This is my office, and I went back to work. I never wanted to go back to work. I didn't want to put my kids in school so that I could go back to work. No, this sounds so funny, and it probably sounds like weird. Since I started studying to take my state license, I've really been struggling with wanting to go back into that field and kind of being hungry to do that field. But in order to do that, I'd have to put my kids in school. And to me, I couldn't put my kids back in school just so I can go back to work. I know I shared my heart with you, and I know I talked to you about why, like what I was dealing with. And it was funny, I had an IEP meeting so my son could get speech at school. And we were talking, and I said, I'm literally exhausted from running him back and forth to speech. And I realized with the auditory, I'm going to have to go back through teaching my son to read like I did my other son. And my other son was every day for 2.5 years until he got it, which I'm so thankful I could do for him. But the aspect of going through that again was so overwhelming. I just couldn't breathe. I'm exhausted. I'm not nearly as fresh as I was 6 years ago when I did that. I'm not, I know I don't have it in me to do. And I'm just I'm unfortunately very tired. And I've gotten a lot of hate for that. And it's funny because I talk to people, face-to-face people, not just my YouTube people, and I'm just like, I'm apologizing for being so tired and just wanting to save myself before I fall apart. And they're just like, why do you think you're apologizing? I've had so many people that just like have applauded me, not for quitting, but for just holding out as long as I have. Holding out. I mean, and I share with you, but then there's this whole there's more stuff to my life than what I share with you. I mean, we're tight, right? But at the same time, there's still a whole more to my life than what I've shared. And they're just like, with everything you do, you have been phenomenal. You're not a quitter. And I know I use that term a little too loosely. Like, I feel like a quitter. But I'm not. Okay. So, I have my lows, but I have decided to go back to work. And one of the things in going back to work is I actually just work for myself. because I only work when the kids are in school, and if I need to take off, I take off. And if I worked for somebody, I have to ask permission. I have to, go through all these things, and I need to be able to do what I need to do and take on what I can take on at the time. And doing engineering for myself works. So I have been doing that and kind of getting my feet wet. Some days it's scary. Some days I feel like, because I have to make that, make that transition on my own, and I don't have anybody that's like, hey, be here at this time. And it can get overwhelming. As much as it's great to have that freedom, it can get overwhelming. And I mean, I'm kind of like, oh, it's been 12 years and I'm going back into the professional world. So one of the things we're having the biggest about is number one, we were totally doing enough. We were so doing enough. But one of the things we've really ran into with the small house is being gone all day and being in a bigger space all day separately. The kids and I have lost our mindfulness of moving in a small, cramped space, which means we invade each other's space so much easier now in the house when we are home for the little bit that we are home. And we've had a lot of meltdowns at home now. And we've had meltdowns because of our lack of space, because we live tiny. And it's come to the point where we talk to each other about us falling apart, that we've been falling apart for the last 6, 8, 9 months, a year or so, that we've been wrestling with. Ooh, my kids are here. That we've been wrestling with might have more to do with the house than us. But I'm going to let you go because my kids are here. And I will talk to you later, and I will get in touch with you soon. You want to say anything to anybody on YouTube?
Hi.
She says hi. All right, I will talk to you soon. I love you guys.